Today, boys, I'm going to be taking you through who your enemies actually are. If you're anything like me, you find things a lot easier to actually apply to your life once you actually understand them. So without further ado, let's actually jump into the people who are profiting off your demise, off your suffering. Number one. Fast food companies. Fast food companies, frankly, don't give a shit if you die of heart disease in 20 years' time. What they do care about is their profit margins. And if using fats, which is scientifically proven to cause heart failure, increases their profit margins, they're very happy to use it. This is the cost of convenience. A lot of our downfalls in life, guys, is because we want to make things as convenient as possible. If something is easy or quick, that should be an immediate red flag for you. It's not always bad, but a lot of the time, making things more convenient has its major downsides. McDonald's don't care if your hormone profile is destroyed. We have a masculinity crisis right now where our testosterone levels have never been lower. Your granddad might even have more testosterone than you right now. You wouldn't know unless you've done a blood test. I did one recently and I wasn't too happy with my results. And I actually make a conscious effort to live a lifestyle which optimizes my hormone profile, and even mine could still be a lot better. Fast food is one of the many weapons that your enemy is using to destroy your hormone profile. They also destroy the environment. All of the politicians are very quick to criticize us for our carbon emissions and whatever the fuck they talk about. Sorry guys, you have to pay triple the price for plane tickets now because of carbon emissions or whatever the fuck. When the fact is, it's massive corporations which is polluting our environment and not really us. We are just a mere tiny fraction of the amount of pollution going out into the world. The environment is a weapon that they use against us to clobber us around the head and to keep us trapped. No more flights, live in your pod, eat your bugs, no red meat for you, it's too costly for the environment. It's complete bullshit, okay? Fast food is simply just selling your addiction to you. When you look at the B-roll that's behind me right now, the McDonald's, the fries, if you're anything like me, you instantly get like a buildup of saliva in your mouth. You're craving that. And that's because you're addicted to it. As soon as you see the McDonald's branding, you immediately crave McDonald's. And most people aren't conscious of this fact and they continue to consume this garbage because they feel like it. They see the McDonald's M and they're like, oh yeah, I fancy McDonald's. I go and get McDonald's. Me go in, me get McDonald's. If you want to actually combat these things, you need to understand them. And you also need to understand your triggers. One final thing, McDonald's don't care if you die or not. They don't care. Outside of you no longer being a lifetime customer, they don't care. The smoking industry. A few of you might be surprised I'm mentioning this because I do like my cigars. I don't think there's too much wrong with smoking sometimes. However, if you've been paying attention in the last 5 years or so, you might have noticed that the branding for these sorts of things have changed. And the branding is designed meticulously to attract kids to these products, which is absolutely fucking disgusting. Vapes are a perfect example of this. Oh, what colored vape do you have, bro? Oh, let me guess the flavor. These are all things that kids give a shit about, or fucking man children. I think vapes are really gay. Anyway, the branding is specifically dialed in so it attracts kids, which is why you see a bunch of 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds in school fucking chugging on their vape pen every 3 seconds. They're getting addicted to nicotine at a very young age, and vapes have a ridiculous amount of nicotine in them. Just breathe air, as Tate says. The tobacco industry did a very intelligent marketing campaign. You might have noticed that in every single old-timey film, the cool guys are always smoking cigarettes. That's not an accident, that's a literal marketing campaign. You've been psyoped into equating smoking as cool because you see it in your favorite films, in your favorite music videos. This isn't an accident. They deliberately went out of their way to do this. It's fucking evil. They don't care if you get cancer. Once again, they don't care. Video game publishers. This one is very close to home for me because I had my life completely destroyed by video games. Since the age of like 7, I got very addicted to games. I got my first console, which was a PlayStation 2. And to be fair, back then, games weren't psychotically designed to hook your attention, but they were fun, which is why you get this like, you know, oh, boys will be boys sort of mentality around games, because it is a teenage boy thing. Do you remember when games were a teenage boy thing? It's not anymore though, is it? You've got like fucking 30-year-old men playing video games and it's fucking completely normal. Video game publishers have studied psychology and they've applied rules of psychology into their game design to keep you hooked to their games. It replaces the masculine need to compete. It replaces the masculine need to progress. For example, when you like hit a headshot in Fortnite, let me play a sound effect to you now. That gives you like dopamine. After hearing that sound, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I just did something good. And it's those small micro dopamine hits which continually keep you hooked on games. That's just one of the many psychological tricks that they use to keep you hooked to their games. I'm not saying all video game publishers are bad, but usually the most popular ones are utilizing shit like this. It's essentially a race to the bottom to get to the top of the charts, the video game charts. Games used to be actually quite cool. They used to be artistic, there used to be a message. Nowadays it's bright saturated colors, epic sound effects, slot machine like mechanics, and just finding as many ways as possible to siphon as much money from you as possible, and time. More importantly, time. Some of my friends who I used to play video games with 12 hours a day are still doing the exact same thing every single day. They're essentially in Groundhog Day. I stopped playing video games around 2 or 3 years ago, and my life since has elevated to an immense level above where I was. But the simple fact is, if I didn't stop playing those video games, and if I didn't disconnect from the fucking, you know, dopamine machine, there's not a chance in hell I would have been able to achieve what I've achieved in the last 2 to 3 years. And video game publishers don't care if you're a hermit in your house stuck on Groundhog Day. They don't care. They want to siphon as much money from you as possible. They'll do anything they can to continually siphon money from you. Next is brain rot content creators, which is really interesting because they're also a victim to the system themselves most of the time. A lot of them aren't even conscious enough to know that they're peddling bullshit. It's simply just all they know. And I know this because I used to be one of them. I would make silly gaming videos in an attempt to become a gaming content creator. But the thing is, these guys, they like to cope and say like, oh yeah, you know, I'm just helping my audience with their mental health, you know, if I could just make someone laugh then it's all good, you know. But the reason why they're stuck in the situation that they're in is because they waste their time consuming shit like you're peddling. I'm talking directly to those content creators now. People like XQC, for example, who is a popular Twitch streamer best known for essentially just being autistic, honestly. I Show Speed, more recently, again, best known for being as autistic as humanly possible. I see him come up on my Twitter feed sometimes, and it's like, oh, I Show Speed didn't actually do this, did he? And it's just like him farting or something. It's just fucking brain rot. These content creators are profiting from your suffering. It's once again a race to the bottom to see who can do the silliest, dumbest, most heinous, clippable moment so that they can potentially go viral on TikTok, or they get, you know, their fucking Twitch clip at the top of the live stream fails subreddit, okay? It's absolute fucking brain rot. You don't gain a single tangible thing from watching their content apart from being mildly entertained. And that's assuming you're entertained rather than just distracted from the horrors of reality. Your reality, because you're not doing any work, you're not building towards something. Your life fucking sucks because you continue to run on this hamster wheel of consuming bullshit content rather than just facing up to the reality of things and building something tangible. I don't want to say these content creators don't care if you know, manage to escape that or not, because once again, I do think they're victims of the system themselves, because a lot of them just aren't even conscious enough to know what they're doing. But it's important for you to know that these guys aren't your friends. They're not fucking entertaining you to try and improve your mental health. Oh yeah, you had a hard day, bro. Yeah, just hop on my Twitch stream. I'll make it all better. No, that's how you remain in the situation you're in. It's bullshit. Also, I just want to quickly mention political peddlers are definitely in this category as well. Political content can be very important, but sometimes you get political commentators or content creators who are bad faith, and they're simply just cashing in on the highly volatile and emotional topic, which is politics. And they don't even believe the shit they say. They've just chosen a side and they're selling to that side no matter what they believe. No matter how much common sense is thrown out of the window. Okay, those guys fucking suck dick as well. They're not your friend. Social media companies are very similar to video game publishers in the sense that they've also studied the fuck out of psychology. They understand exactly what keeps you hooked. And instead of replacing your masculine need to compete and your masculine need to progress, they replace your needs for human relations and validation. I'm not going to harp on about social media companies because I feel like I'd be singing to the choir. I think a lot of you sort of understand that social media is very much so a double-edged sword. But once again, you're a cash cow. They don't really care how shit your life is. They just want you to consume as much as possible. They want you to perma-scroll those reels. Banks are well and truly the enemy of the people. It's not the blacks, it's not the whites, it's not the gays, it's not the straights, it's not the Democrats, it's not the Republicans, it is the banks. It's the people who print the money. Did you know that you pay a hidden tax? Your hidden tax is inflation. Every single one of us are paying this hidden tax, unbeknownst to most people. I think there's a good quote which goes along the lines of something like, if people actually knew how banks and money worked, the whole population would be in the streets rioting within minutes. I'm not going to pretend like I know everything. I do know how bullshit banks are. I know how if you control the infrastructure, then you essentially control the world. And I know that people like this in this position, rules don't apply to them because they have money. They essentially own you. They own me. I need money to survive. They print money. They own me. If they wanted to literally own my time, my entire existence, they would have to just print money and give it to me. And then you would actually pay for that because of inflation and your hidden tax. How hilarious is that? We're all completely owned by the banks because they're the ones who print the money, and they are one of the true enemies of humanity. And they leverage this money by keeping us divided, by dropping psyop after psyop onto us. Finally, I want to mention the porn industry. And I'm only mentioning it because I'm not actually interested in talking about it at all, because I find it so disgusting and vile that I don't want to dwell on it for long at all. The porn industry is absolutely disgusting. If you do any sort of research, very surface-based research on the porn industry and how evil it is, you'll understand why I don't even want to talk about it. I've not watched any porn for 3 years, and if you watch porn, you should stop immediately. It will completely destroy your ability to have healthy relationships with women. And you're also contributing to an absolutely vile ecosystem. I'm sure I've missed a fuck ton of companies and people which are profiting off the suffering of the everyday man. So comment your favorites below and we can all rally behind how shit they are together. Thanks for watching, boys. I hope you learned something. Check out the first link in the description if you want to learn how I made money online through video editing. It's good and honest work, and it will help you achieve the lifestyle of your dreams. And you don't have to fucking sell your soul to do it either, so that's a plus. Take care, boys.